Hello, welcome to part one of my orchid growth space tour. I grow all of my orchids here indoors in Southern California. They all, for the most part, are in front of western facing windows, which gets lots of light in the late afternoon. But I also grow my orchids under LED full spectrum grow lights, as you can see in this part of my collection. Part one will be dealing with my Klimt collection, named for this rather famous painting by Gustav Klimt called The Kiss. And so let's go ahead and get the introductions started. Let's start here with my Sarcochilus. This is one of two of my Sarcochilus that I have that I got from Sunset Valley Orchids. They're moisture-loving orchids, so I figured they would do really well in semi-hydro, and they have so far. Creme is a Sarcochilus Colnara Need 7 spikes crossed with Colnara Euphoria underlay. She has these really beautiful cream white blooms with yellow patterns on them. Really cute, tiny little spray of blossoms. And she is doing well. She has stayed pretty stiff, hasn't become limp or anything like that. She's growing in this leaf, and her roots have actually really adapted very well. She is not rotting her roots at all. They're staying viable. They're branched. So I'm hoping that they'll stick around long enough for her to start putting out a new growth, which can start putting out more roots. But she's looking fantastic so far. She actually came to me with this tiny little nubbin right there, as you can see. That is a flower spike. So I thought she might yellow and just kind of like steal that little thing, but she hasn't. She's held on to it. So I'm curious if it will grow or develop in the future. But so far so good. She's looking fantastic. She's growing, and that's all I can ask. She's adapting. Yay, you go, Creme. All right, next up we have Nani. Oh, and I name all of my orchids. I usually pick something within their hybrid name or something that their flowers remind me of, just to help me remember which are which. I like to know each individual orchid, and I have like 80 of them. So this is just like something to help me. It's a little cheesy, I know, but I love my orchids, so it's pretty fun. This one's Nani. She has been reclassified from Hawaiara to, Leomycesia. She's a lava burst Puanani. So this one is really cool. She's my only Leomycesia, but she's looking fantastic. She came to me as this one single fan or suitable, I guess. Maybe she has a tiny little bulb. This single one that's grown, this big huge leaf in my care, and then this brand new growth that has matured in my care that's looking fantastic, which is looking a lot bigger than the mother plant. I'm very excited to say. And so she came to me as a seedling from eBay. So I'm hoping that she is going to continue to mature and continue to do well for me. She has roots coming into the pot now, reaching the reservoir, so that's really good. I'm hoping those continue to grow. So overall, she's doing fantastic. She's adapting. She's loving it. She's very happy. All right, here right in front, we have my Oncidium Twinkle twins. Yes, that's what I call them, my Oncidium Twinkle twins. They both came to me from the same seller on eBay, and one is white and one is yellow. So the white one is Sprinkles. She is my Oncidium Twinkle White Shower. She's got this lovely spray of little white blooms, and she is doing really beautifully. Came with 3 pseudobulbs originally, 1, 2, and 3, and then grew in 1, 2, 3 new growths. They're looking big and bushy. They look fantastic. Leaf tip dieback is very typical on Oncidiums. I'm not too worried about that, but she looks fantastic. She's big, she's bushy. She drinks through her reservoir in 3 days. She's really happy. She just keeps drinking and drinking, so I'm gonna keep providing her with as much water as she wants. And then to the right of her, her twin is doing well as well, just not as wonderful as her, but she's doing good. This is my Sunshine, and Sunshine is my Oncidium Twinkle sunlight. Oops, if I can get that. There we go, to focus. So my Oncidium Twinkle Sunlight. So she is a little smaller. She's not as vigorous as her twin here. She's got a little bit smaller bulbs, but they're still plump. They look fantastic. She also put out, she had 3 bulbs. She put out 1, 2, 3 new growths. So she's doing well as well. This is her smallest growth. So you got 3 new growths. They're all growing. Her roots are looking good too, just not as extensive as the other one. She's got a couple of little roots growing in just now, so she's happy. But like, oh my god, the sprinkles. She's got roots everywhere. Oops. She's got roots everywhere. Yeah, she's very, very happy girl. So I have no fear that these guys will decline. They're gonna keep trucking along. They're gonna keep growing, and I expect to see some flower spikes probably before the end of the year. Maybe not blooms, but definitely flower spikes. I think by the time these growths mature, I'll see at least 1, probably more than 1, but yeah, at least 1. And then up here, from the very distinctive foliage, as you can see, is Coco. Coco is my, if you haven't already guessed it, my Maxillaria tenuifolia. And so she came to me as a bare root division. She was just a chunk of pseudobulbs wrapped in sphagnum moss and aluminum foil for like very cheap. She was part of a much larger specimen plant, I'm sure. And so I dug through the pile of like what must have been like 100 divisions to find one that had much more plump pseudobulbs, and my efforts paid off. Looking like a crazy person in that bin paid off, because she put out 1, 2, 3, 4 new growths. Her roots are going crazy in the pot, and her pseudobulbs have not shriveled at all. They look fantastic still. They look fantastic. They're in great condition. Her leaves are in great condition. They're looking beautiful. These 2 slightly yellowing leaves are from the pseudobulbs that are, the 2 pseudobulbs that are buried further down in the pot. They're older pseudobulbs. So I imagine those ones are going to lose their leaves because they're just, in a little bit more hostile environment. But that's not something to worry about. That's normal during a typical repotting to semi-hydro. So I have no concern that this is going to affect her. She's going to grow in these new growths. Roots are going to go down into the sheaths and down into the medium. There's already roots that are reaching the side of the pot. I'm very excited to see how she does. She's such a vigorous grower. Coco, you are very impressive. Just to the right of her, we have Buttercup, one of my most abused orchids. Oh my gosh, poor Buttercup. She's my very first Oncidium type. She is an Oncidessa sweet sugar, recently reclassified to Oncidessa, but she has been abused because I really went through my learning process with Oncidiums with her. And so, didn't know that they needed so much water, broke her from a larger mother plant. Oops, that was my kitty. I broke her from a larger mother plant during her first repotting, and that other division took even more abuse. I rotted 1 new growth, then I rotted another new growth, and then that one finally just shriveled up and died. So this one put out this new growth that's obviously much smaller than her very shriveled bulbs back here. And so this one is looking plumper but very tiny. I will definitely not get a flower spike from her. But she has since also put out another little nubbin. So that's another bulb coming in right there. I'm very excited to see. She's got roots, as you can see, coming into the pot. So she's starting to stabilize herself. So as that grows in, it will only help her become more and more healthy and start to, get established in her pot. So I don't expect any blooms from Buttercup for, at least 2 or 3 years as she recovers. But I'm excited to see her growing. I'm excited that she's just alive. Thank you for being alive, Buttercup. Thank you for taking the abuse. So very hardy, very vigorous plant. This poor girl, she's been through a lot. All right, moving right along, we have my, hidden behind here, we have my second Sarcochilus. This is Velvet. Velvet is a Culnara Dazzle Deep Velvet crossed with Culnara Drive 4 Black. And so this one is doing really well, as can be as expected, you know, compared to the other one. She grew in this brand new little leaf in my care, and this, what I thought was a seedling fan, is actually another new growth. I mean, like a new growth, and so a leaf on a growth, maybe. I'm not sure. Maybe it is a seedling fan, so it won't get big. I'm not exactly sure how to identify what that is. But anyways, I'm having 2 new leaves. Oh no, my kitties are going crazy. Give me 1 second. Annoying my kitties. Anyways, all right, back to this. You have to excuse my kitties. They love to play. And so anyways, so yeah, this one's doing well. Her roots are not as extensive. She's got this one that's starting to reach down into the reservoir, but otherwise is looking okay. Her leaves are still stiff. They're still nice and stiff and taut, so she'll do okay. I think she's just adapting. She was pouting a little bit before she starts to really grow, so I'm excited to see how she does. All right, moving along, we have here Minnie. Now, Minnie is one of my favorite little miniature novelty Phalaenopsis that I have. He is a Timothy Christopher / Mina, and so she has really done well in semi-hydro so far. Actually, she came to me in spike with 2 flower spikes. And instead of dropping those spikes during the repot like I expected her to, or to, you know, like stall them or something, she decided to keep growing them and actually put out like 4 new buds, started branching on 2, you know, of her nodes, and so really didn't seem to want to stop. And so I just snipped them to have her concentrate on growing on her roots instead. And so she finally started putting out this little leaf at the top. Her leaves are a little limper than they were to begin with, but they're still pretty stiff. They're still looking good. They're not too leathery yet. So I imagine she'll be okay. We're going to start growing in some roots. We have one popping out right there, so I have full confidence that she's going to recover. She's got the cutest flowers. Nothing like I've ever seen. Just these white, tiny, like Doratonopsis type of flowers that are freckled and just like super adorable. I love her, so I'm very excited to see how she does. Over here in front, oh, this gorgeous beauty is Violetta. Violetta is my Phalaenopsis no ID. She's a miniature, as you can see, and I just love these blooms. I love the deeper purple contrasted with this white edging pattern, this like splash edging on the lip. Oh, just so pretty. She came to me in spike, not this spike. I cut that spike during the repot. She came with this leaf that she stopped growing. She put out this new leaf. She put out, you know, new roots in her pot. So I left the flower spike that she started to develop, and I figured, you know, she's a Phalaenopsis no ID. It's not a big deal. Let's see what she does. And she grew it and grew it and grew it and put out a brand new display. Not only that, she also decided to branch. We've got one branch with one bloom and a second branch with another bloom, and then one aborted bloom. So she is also a prolific brancher, which is really really great. Like, she put out this flower spike when she was sick. So I'm curious what kind of display I'll get from her when she's happy, healthy, established. Very exciting. Oh, I can't wait to see what she does for me. And then over here, we have Carmela. Carmela came to me from eBay as well, one of my first eBay purchases, and she's an Oncidessa Little Dragon Carmela, and actually reclassified from Baptisidium. She's gonna stay a very tiny plant. Like, she really isn't gonna get much bigger than this. But yeah, she came to me with very yellow pseudobulbs. They have actually greened up a little bit since coming into my care, but this is very yellow pseudobulbs. I thought maybe it was like some cold damage because I did ship in the winter time. Unfortunately, that was my mistake. I won't be doing that again with this type of orchid. She came with the growth that she has matured in my care with, you know, accordion leaves, because she was obviously very dehydrated. She really pouted for like the longest time until recently when this kind of finally finished maturing. I noticed some root activity in the pot. She was finally starting to drink from the reservoir. She's actually going through her reservoir now, so that's very good. So I'm hoping to see something from her soon. Maybe, you know, in the next 2 years something will happen with her. She'll recover enough, maybe put out another growth soon. I hope so. Otherwise, I'm gonna check her. She's just taking up space. Come on, Carmela, you gotta do something for me. Alrighty, over here, my very, very first Paphiopedilum. This is Maud. Maud is a no ID Paphiopedilum with really beautiful, like burgundy wine color with kind of like a green and white, like, and freckles and little hairs, like really beautiful, cute little blooms. Just a single bloom when I got him, and he was in bloom for like over a month after coming into my care. I thought for sure he would drop it way sooner, but yeah, he was in bloom for over a month. I snipped the spike, repotted him, and he has pouted for a while, kind of like did nothing. Didn't really go through his reservoir very quickly, but kind of sat there, and then finally put out this little new growth. So that's very exciting. He decided to finally put out a new growth. He's a very slow grower. Paphiopedilums are slow growers, so I didn't really expect him to do anything too crazy, but yeah, I'm excited to see that. He's looking beautiful. I love these mottled leaves. I really do. I love them. So I hope that fan continues to grow, and then I'll get another bloom from him soon. Alrighty, and then in front over here we have a very surprising orchid. This is Scarlett, my Miltoneopsis Birchfield leash. Now, I expected this plant to be very finicky and very unhappy, but she's actually done really well. She came to me as an eBay purchase as well, along with this order. And I think because coming in the winter time, this one suffered in the winter. This one actually was helped in the winter time. The cooler temperatures in my home actually helped her establish a really amazing, hold on if I can get it, an amazing root system. Those are all brand new roots. She looks fantastic. Like, those are all brand new. She has looked fantastic, hasn't lost too much leaves. She actually decided to grow in this brand new growth right here, and came to me with this flower spike that she has kept, that she hasn't dropped. I expected it to yellow and drop when I repotted her. She grew roots. She left it alone. I imagine it might do something come this winter, maybe fall or winter. Maybe she'll be established enough that she'll do something with it again. But yeah, I'm very excited. She's doing fantastic in semi-hydro. The cooler temperature from the evaporative cooling really seems to be helping this plant in my care. And I make sure she stays well watered because she is an Oncidium, type. She does love water, so that's something to keep in mind. And I just hope that she continues to do well, that she's a happy, healthy plant. Let's see how she does. Next up over here we have a flicker, but these 5 orchids, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Not this one over here. Excluding you. I'm sorry, Firefly. These ones are all brand new additions to my collection. They're all from Sunset Valley Orchids. I was fortunate enough to be at their open house this year, where I pre-ordered a lot of orchids and also bought some new orchids. And so these are the majority from Sunset Valley Orchids. And so they're beautiful. They're all Cattleya types, all sunset colors, which is what I love my orchids color blooms to be. I love sunset colors. So they're all some sort of mix of, and so I'm excited to introduce you. Let's start over here with Flicker. Flicker is a Cattleya Orchid Glade SVO crossed with SLC Fire Fantasy HNR. She has these really beautiful, like, coral yellow orange blooms. At least that's what her parentage has. So hopefully she'll be a blend of those parents and come out with something really beautiful. She came with this new growth that she is continuing to mature. It's obviously much bigger than her old ones. I don't see any new roots yet, but I'm expecting something soon, you know, down there. The repot isn't from very, you know, long ago, so hasn't been too long. So I expect something from her soon. Over here we have Tropicana. And Tropicana is my SLC Donna Passanen SVO crossed with Tropical Star Peter. And that's actually Peter, my friend Peter. Isn't that funny? He actually does hybridize with Fred Clark sometimes at the nursery. So yes, Peter had a hand in this one. This is a really beautifully flared Cattleya hybrid with reds and yellows, you know, really beautiful splash pattern. I'm very excited to see what this one looks like. I really love the pictures of the parents. And very excitingly, she came to me with a sheath that has since developed this bud. So that is super exciting. I repotted her. I repotted her back in June when I got her. It's now the middle of July. And so I'm super excited to see if that just continues to grow and develop, because how exciting would that be? Oh my goodness, to have blooms right away. Like, oh, let's not jinx it. Oh my gosh, let's see what happens. Her bulbs look fantastic. She looks fantastic. I'm very excited to see what she does. You go, Tropicana, you go. I mean, if she stales and yellows this, you know, no big deal. I was expecting it from her. But if it doesn't, what a surprise. Ooh, I'm so excited. So excited. All right, and over here, this gorgeous beauty, very bushy beauty, is actually not from Sunset Valley Orchids. She is actually a purchase from Peter. Yes, the same Peter who had handed this hybridization. Peter sold me this one. I told him I'm looking for some night blooming orchids, and told me that one of the staple night bloomers in any collection is, of course, the Rhyncholalia Aristocrat. So Milady, you know, get it? Milady Aristocrat. Just a little name humor there. So Milady is a big beauty. Oh gosh, like looking beautiful. She has this new mature bulb, and then I think another one further back here somewhere. She looks fantastic. She seems to be growing in some roots from this one. I see a little bit of root activity there, so that's very exciting. She's going to establish herself very quickly in her pot. She's got these really big, beautiful, very showy blossoms. I'm super excited to see and smell. She's supposed to be quite a showstopper, so I'm excited. Thank you very much, Peter. All right, and then next up over here in front, we have Peaches. Peaches is a peach orchid. Yeah, surprise, surprise. She is a Patinara Dolls Emperor SVO crossed with SLC Sweet Jewel SVO. So Peaches is actually supposed to be like a salmony orange color. That's what her parent flowers look like. They're like a salmony, orangey, peachy color with a yellow lip. So I'm hoping she is the same, that she will be a peachy, salmony color with a yellow lip. Really interesting novelty color combination for a Cattleya type. She's a beautiful like bifoliate. She's got these really beautiful big broad leaves, and this is her newest growth. And this one, oh, that's right. I broke off one of her leaves in the car on the right over here. Whoops, my bad. Gotta be more careful. But yeah, she's got these two new growths. They look fantastic. Is this a new growth? Maybe not. I'm sorry, this is just a seedling growth. This is a new growth. This big, beautiful beauty over here. This is a new growth. No spike, so I'm assuming her next one, if it's the same size or any bigger, will spike. But let's see how set back she is from the repot. I do have... Oh, you know what? No, never mind. It wasn't this plant. I thought this one had a new growth. It's a different one. This one's just doing okay. She's pouting still. She's still recovering from the repot, so that's okay. Like I said, it's very new. Over here, we have Bright Eyes. Bright Eyes is another sunset color orchid here. SLC Angel Eyes SVO2 crossed with Picotee Fire SVO. The Picotee Fire is what caught me on this orchid. Such an interesting Picotee magenta on yellow. Really beautiful color combination there. I'm hoping Bright Eyes will have something like that from her parentage. I'm hoping for that, and the splash color pattern from the from her other parent, her Angel Eyes. So I mean, that would be the best of both worlds. Asking a little bit too much maybe, but I mean, you never know. Fingers crossed. She is growing in this new bulb here, so that's good. I am excited to see if she's gonna put out any new growths for me. I don't see any yet, so let's see how she does. And then last but not least, right over here, let me put her back in her usual place here. There we go. She's a little bushy. This is Firefly. And Firefly is a really beautiful Oncidium type. She is Oncidium Firefly. Rexus Luck Firefly. Rexus Luck Firefly. And so she was an eBay purchase that was in like great distress. Came to me with these 3 bulbs that were incredibly shriveled and like no roots. Like 2 root nubbins. Very bad condition. I wasn't sure if she was going to make it. I popped her into semi-hydro. She grew in this new growth and is growing in tons of new roots here, like lots and lots of new roots in the pot. She's very happy, finally starting to establish herself. So I'm very excited to see if this one is going to flower for me. I want to see if it looks anything like the picture. The picture is gorgeous. I love the flower in the picture. That's what made me want to get her in the first place, of course. So I'm excited to see how she does. I hope it's a nice big bulb. It's looking good so far. Let's see. So that is it for the Klimt collection, this grouping of orchids here further inside my house. The LED Sansi bulbs are fantastic. I really underestimated how strong these bulbs would be in the beginning. I placed a lot of Phalaenopsis and Oncidiums at a much closer distance and burned the heck out of a lot of my Phalaenopsis. That's how I lost like 3 of them, because I just burned them to nothing and I couldn't figure out what it was for a long time until I finally looked at older pictures. Made me really want to start documenting my orchids and how they look so that I can see how they progress. I can see the changes that happen as they stay in my care. And so I want to go ahead and finish this video, and please stay tuned for part 2.